Meta stock is doing amazing. I mean, we can see in the past month or so, the stock is up nearly 20%. Now, in today's episode, what I want to do is the following. Meta is entering into the robotics market. We recently got some reports about that. We can also see how Meta is such a huge tech company as outside of the robotics market. We've heard about them planning to buy an AI chip company. And we've also heard reports of them kind of focusing on their own CPU with ARM holdings. So I just want to take a closer look at everything happening with Meta platforms right now. And also I'm going to start off the episode kind of taking a closer look at valuations and some financials of Meta and kind of share my overall thoughts if I would be buying or selling Meta at these levels. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right. So first, a closer look at Meta Platforms financials. So cash and cash equivalents in most recent quarter, roughly 44 billion, total long-term debt of roughly 28 billion, and free cash flow in trailing 12 months of $54 billion. So right off the bat, we can see this is a free cash flow machine, even with the huge investments that this company is making in AI compute and AI data centers. So this is the company, this is the type of financial sheet I would like to see in a company that's investing in a lot of creative and innovative products. I mean, we see them focusing in augmented reality, in virtual reality, in AI, large language models, right? And kind of these foundational models as well. And now we're hearing discussions of them kind of focusing in the robotics market, right? This is the type of company's financial that you want to see, a company that has heavy free cash flow. I mean, just comparing it to some of the big players out there, right? This provides more free cash flow than Amazon, which provides about 32 billion, but not enough as Alphabet or Microsoft right now. Both those other players are sitting at about 70 billion trailing 12 months free cash flow. Now, if we look at PE ratio forward 1 year, the stock, which is the end of next fiscal year, so about 24 months from now, is sitting at a forward 1 year PE ratio of 25.38. The next 12 months PE ratio, which is the end of next fiscal year, of this current fiscal year, is about 29. So this is definitely one of the cheaper Max sevens, but at these levels, if I may be honest, I believe this is more of like a dollar cost averaging stock. It's not a stock I would buy in at heavy amounts right off the bat, because I do believe a lot of great growth is kind of priced in. Obviously, it doesn't mean that the stock is going to drop, but my risk to reward ratio right now, this is more of like that small dollar cost averaging over time, and there might be opportunities in the future where we can get it at a better price to buy, where I would want to buy a heavy load, right? For me, Meta Platforms was one of those stocks that I purchased heavily when we kind of saw those, and you can go back to these videos, when we kind of saw that reaction in 2022, when this became the Meta platform. I kind of discussed why Meta was a huge AI company. I really haven't discussed much of it from there because the thesis just remains the same, and we can see the stock is up over 700% since then. Now, recently, what's really getting exciting in the overall space is there are reports, I believe Bloomberg or Reuters kind of talked about it first about 2 days ago, that Meta plans to invest in AI-powered humanoid robotics. And this has become kind of the big new thing, the humanoid robotics market. Two things I want to say. I personally believe, and if you watch my videos, that the AI market is going to revolutionize the robotic space. So I definitely see this happening within the next 5 to 10 years, maybe closer to 5 than 10. But I don't see the humanoid robotics market, at least in the consumer world, being shorter than that, right? Maybe like 4 years, closer to the 5 years, but it's definitely a few years away. Now, Meta is doing really well with the AI market. That I do believe this is a kind of a great play for them. We'll look at the more key details in the future, later on this episode. But another thing that kind of gets me excited is I talked about it in some other places where Tesla has done really good with AI autonomous driving. One of the main reasons is they have a lot and let's just look at Tesla right now. They have a lot of data with all the recordings that they have about real world data of how cars move or what to do with certain moves. And that's why they're moving and progressing so well and so fast with FSD. Now, I think something similar can happen here with Meta platforms, where Meta platforms and other players like Google have a lot of human data, right? They have all these videos of how, right, if you're watching YouTube shorts, if you're watching Meta Shorts, if you're watching Instagram Shorts or Instagram Reels, they have the data of how humans react and how humans move throughout the physical world. And I wonder if that data could kind of be seen as like the Tesla data for autonomous vehicle, but that Meta platform's data for humanoid robotics. Let me know in the comments below if that kind of makes sense, right? Because you have plenty of videos of people doing the same dance, of how things move, with how the human body moves in the real world. And I think that kind of data can be useful if somehow implemented correctly. I don't know how that would happen, but at least they have that data and asset. All right, so now let's take a closer look at what Reuters mentioned. So they mentioned that based on an internal company memo viewed by Reuters on Friday, that Meta is establishing a new division within its Reality Labs unit to develop AI-powered humanoid robots that can assist with physical tasks. They mentioned that the current goal is for consumer humanoid robotics with the goal of maximizing Llama's platform capabilities. And this is something we've heard a lot from a lot of NVIDIA players, that it is the era of robotics, especially with AI large language models. The other thing is they believe that this kind of portfolio in humanoid robotics will be something to add value to AI, to mixed reality, to augmented reality progress. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense if you have kind of a humanoid robot kind of reacting to the real world. That alone is probably a lot of information that can be used to improve all those other segments as well. So you kind of have that asset coming in with humanoid robotics. Now, this segment is going to be run by Mark Whitten, which is the former CEO of self-driving car company Cruise, who Meta has hired as vice president of robotics. And again, this kind of makes sense, right? Because and we've heard it from Tesla, that at the end of the day, cars are just another form of a robot. It's just a mobility robot. So a lot of the kind of concepts and maybe top level thinking of robotics and autonomous robotics can actually come in with a lot of the research and development that has kind of been made in the robotics, in the autonomous vehicle market. So I can see how that leadership plays off well. Now, they end up finishing that Meta plans to develop its own humanoid robot hardware, initially targeting household chores, while aiming to create AI, sensors, and software that can power robots manufactured and sold by various companies, according to Bloomberg reports. Meta has started discussing with plans with robotics companies, including Unitree Robotics and Figure AI, and does not immediately plan to launch its own branded robot. So if that's true, I think I'm happy with that, because manufacturing your own robot is gonna be uh issue within themselves. And if humanoid robotics is gonna become kind of like the next product that everybody's working, margins are gonna be pretty weak. So not necessarily hit too much the hardware market, more work on specialized sensors, more work on software, and more work on kind of certain other types of AI solutions for it, where there probably is a lot more margins. They don't have to worry about kind of the physical manufacturing of them. And this is actually something that Meta has done for a while, right? Meta is a huge AI company and a huge engineering and research company. On October 31st, they did a research of how they're doing open source solutions to advance the embodied AI and humanoid robot interactions. They kind of released a few things here, from some sensors, from some software applications, and some other types of solutions in the AI space, because they want to they released several new research artifacts and advanced touch perception, robot dexterity, and human robot interaction. Touch is the first and most crucial modality for humans to physically interact with the world. And one of the solutions or kind of questions is Meta Digit 360, which is an artificial fingertip with human level tactical sensing. So as a robot, right? And even with vision, you still will know if what you're touching is soft or hard or what, or how much pressure you should put. And that's very crucial. So you need to have very special type of sensing applications and solutions to make sure you don't put too much force into something or too little force into another product, right? So sensing is going to be a very important type of technology that needs to be used, and human level precision with that sensing of how much force you should put on anything is going to be crucial on a robot being able to do all types of tasks that require high force or even low force, right? So Meta has already developed a lot of open source solutions in this product, very similar to what we actually heard. And this was on October of 2024, roughly 4 or 5 months ago, to where this robot news is. So we can see Meta has been developing these kind of AI robotic solutions for a while. Now, there's also reports that Apple is kind of entering into this market. I personally, if I was to guess one or the other, I think I would bet on Meta. Meta is innovating at some crazy levels. I don't know if I could say the same about Apple. Now, some other news have come out that ARM is to release its own data center CPU and secures Meta as first customers. Now, this is pretty interesting. It's still part of Meta, but I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about ARM Holdings here. These are just rumors that ARM is designing their own CPU. This is pretty interesting as ARM has a lot of other partners and customers that design their own CPU. So it's very hard to think of ARM kind of entering into this competitive market. I think in every rumor, there's always some truth behind it. And ARM has a kind of system called compute subsystem where they help companies develop chips a lot faster by providing kind of like most of the chip done. I think ARM is kind of heading into that more market even further and further, where they're designing more and more of the chip, where it's very easy for a company like Meta to skip the design process by a lot and only focus on individual applications to add on to that CPU or whatever type of chip that they're working with. So Meta is definitely evolving and becoming more of an chip maker because they want to improve their own efficiency. So I think this is pretty interesting. I'm going to want to hear more from ARM Holdings, but it would be really weird for ARM to kind of become a competitor to a lot and a lot of their customers right now. But we can see ARM right now sitting at 159. The stock is a bit volatile in the past month or so. A lot of ups and down here with a lot of AI investments. Now, the final thing that I want to kind of talk about with Meta is planning on investing and buying an AI chip. So Meta has previously referred about their MTIA chip, which is their Meta Training and Inference Accelerator that they discussed in April 2024. But it seems like this chip might be taking a little bit longer than expected. Now there's rumors that Meta is in talks to acquire an AI chip startup called Furosa AI. Now, Furosa AI is a very small chip player. They kind of focus on AI inference for the enterprise clouds with their Furosa Renegade chip. Now, it seems like they are the number one efficient Llama inference, and Llama is obviously Meta Platform's AI model. Now, if there's already a company doing this that's very small, it makes perfect sense, in my opinion, for Meta Platforms to buy this company. The reason being is Meta has so many types of AI solutions, and unfortunately, and fortunately for them, they have billions and billions of people in their platforms. Then, because they have billions of people in the platform, it would be very expensive for them to kind of run the inference of their AI models. So, a way to kind of reduce that cost, still be able to focus on other innovations, but kind of be able to showcase their older products to the public market, they would need a chip that can help them with efficiency. Now, I wouldn't say this is a bearish case for Nvidia. I mean, perfect example is Google. Google has plenty of TPUs, but they're still big purchasers of GPUs and will continue to do that. I think very similar to this if Meta buys Furosa, where they're gonna be still big customers of Nvidia, but now they will be able to build more AI infrastructure because they want to show the inferencing solutions of their overall AI models and kind of bring it to the public, right? They have so many things that is too expensive for them to bring to the public, and something like this will increase the amount of AI compute solution. So I actually hope this is real. If this is real, I do believe it's going to be something that will make Meta a way stronger AI company and a stronger company in general. So Meta, like I mentioned, been killing it with the overall price performance. This is a stock I wouldn't bet against in the long term of things. In the short term of things, though, there could be a lot of room for volatility, especially with the AI market right now. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.